If you followed the franchise organizations, many of you know Comfort Keepers, and Comfort Keepers originally started, I don't know, a dozen years ago or more, as a privately owned franchise up in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. And then the founders, after a number of years, sold it to a private equity firm. They grew it some more. They resold it to another private equity firm. And then I'd have to go back at my timeline, but I'm guessing 5 or 6 years ago, the second private equity firm sold the business to Sodexo, which is a large food service company. And so it's corporate America looking at the home care space and saying, gee, this might be a good place to make an investment. And so there's an example of a large corporation, publicly traded corporation, I think they're publicly traded, that has acquired a home care franchise organization. The other example of that we saw just recently is Senior Helpers, which is another large franchise that was started by 2 individuals, and they grew it, and they took some private equity investment, but they didn't sell the controlling interest, but they took some investment, they continued to grow it, and then they sold a controlling interest to another firm. And earlier this year, the announcement was made that Senior Helpers was sold by their owning private equity firm to an investment organization owned by a not-for-profit hospital system in the Chicago, Milwaukee area called Aurora Advocate. And people were saying, well, why would a hospital get into the private pay franchise business? And as I understand it, and again, I haven't had a chance to dig into this deeply, it wasn't bought by the hospitals, it was bought by their investment branch. So they have some capital that they've accumulated, and they decided that a way to invest their capital was to buy Senior Helpers franchise business. And so there's a non-PE owner. We're also seeing some individuals who have grown their home care businesses fairly significantly, who are then doing acquisitions with cash flow from their existing company. But I think you raised a good question, Renee, in terms of what's the impact of private equity on this whole industry, since so many of the acquisitions are being driven by private equity firms.